So after 2 years of waiting, the High School Musical, Disney's version of Whole Cake Island, is officially a thing of the past. We can move on. Honestly, feels longer than 2 years. Has it been 2 years? I can't even tell anymore. And it would be Whole Cake Island if this episode didn't end with a musical. And I have to admit, with Soul Pocus musical in the background, it was befitting for what was a very straightforward episode. Very straightforward, but a very emotional one. You know the emotions are an all-time high with even Katakuri, the man of the Whole Cake Island arc, the VIP, is shedding a tear or two. So let's break it down from the beginning. We start off with the Sunny, they went their way out of danger. Everybody else, not so much. I'm pretty sure in most Disney movies, it ends with a happy ending. Those on the Straw Hats, it's okay, it's all good. Everybody else, not so much. Nami is asked the question by Brooke, do you think Jinbei is okay? She doesn't give a response. Let's just keep moving, keep going. Speaking of future Straw Hat crew members, future Nakamas, we have Carrot talking about Sanji, and Sanji's finally aware of what happened to Pedro and I find it ironic because when Sanji rejoined with the Sunny after he fixed the cake, he asked the question to everybody else, what happened to Carrot and Pedro? You saw the facial reactions of everybody, but said, oh, they're okay, they're just recouping inside. Obviously, Carrot being the one bring the news to Sanji, and it's emotional. I'm not gonna lie, it almost got me because she's trying to keep it together. Sanji's like cool, calm, collected. She's like, oh, so what happened with him interacting with Pedro for the first time when he saved the minx? And Sanji blames himself for what happened with Pedro because he left for Whole Cake Island. Everybody else followed in pursuit. Because of that, he blames himself. And Carrot trying to keep it together. And this, I swear, I don't know what it is. When Carrot's crying, it's one of the most heart-wrenching things. She taps Sanji on the head and she's like, it's okay. It's okay. You can just thank him. You can just thank him for helping him out. And then she just breaks down. Oh, man. The music just breaks down. You see the background, the scenery. It's just an emotional moment. And that's where, okay, this is what the type of episode we're going to get. And I purposely did not watch the preview after last week's episode because I was curious what they were going to do. Knowing what the title was and knowing what I read in the manga, if you read the manga, you know what goes down next. I don't need to tell you the hype. And with half the episode titles with putting, okay, let's see what they do with this. Moving further out the district, everybody's in a panic, an uproar. The song took like a third of the episode. Then we go over the pudding, and she's like breaking down while the song is going on in the background. And I love how you can still hear the voice actors in the background, just a battlefield on water, like I said. And Pudding is like tearing up because she realizes she's saying farewell to Sanji. This is a goodbye. I don't know if there's going to be an interaction, and the reason I say this is because the flashback scenes of Pudding and Sanji in the biggest moments on Whole Cake Island, from the moment Big Mom asked Pudding, you're going to be the girl, the woman to marry Sanji, to lead him on so we can get that gem attack. And here's the thing, so Pudding said, no, I'm not your doll. And she did say, after this mess is done, she's leaving Whole Cake Island. So I don't know what she's going to do after this arc. That's going to be interesting. If we do get to see her, she has a latent ability, the third eye. If she awakens it, she's able to read the royal poneglyphs, which makes it a crucial plot device for certain characters if they find that out. And I've said this before, the same dynamics we have for Pudding, we have for Katakuri in the childhood. Their appearances is the reason they turn out the way they were. Not excusing their actions, but you kind of get the reason why they turned out the way they did. And my question to you, after watching this episode, after everything that's gone down between Pudding and Sanji, do you think this is a redemption arc, or could there be more on the table when it comes to Pudding being reintroduced into the story later down the road? I promise, we don't really get to find out what that is, but she says thank you, goodbye, and she approaches Sanji. We didn't get to see what it was, although you can make your own interpretations of what that happened. It's obvious they made out. She takes the cigarette out, and that's where it cut away the first time we saw it. It's obvious because the way next thing you see is Sanji just blushing and just Pudding taking the film out Sanji like she did with Reiju back in the day. So it's kind of cool. And even when she did that, I noticed Sanji said, Pudding, what is it you wanted to ask me? She did not forget who Pudding was. So that's interesting to me. I thought Pudding was forgotten by Sanji, which is why I didn't say a thing before the arc wrapped up. So that can't happen in the manga. If it did, please correct me. But either way, I just thought that was super surprising. again, you can make that interpretation, and it sucks because this could be the only girl that actually returned Sanji's feelings towards him. It's the only girl we see. I mean, Viola to a certain extent, but even then, it's kind of a teaser of what was to come. This is the real deal, apparently, because this legit feelings now. It's not misleading on the part of Pudding anymore. She did care about Sanji. It sucks because we may never get a situation like that unless we get Pudding reintroduced, and I just find it ironic that Sanji hasn't forgotten who Pudding is. Heart-wrenching scene. She just, after everything that's gone down between the two, she just bursts out in tears. This time you can hear the voice actor, so it's kind of heart-wrenching in a way. And we go over to what might be my favourite part of the episode, where we go to the mirror world and we see Brule talking to Katakuri. We finally get to see what happens since his defeat at the hands of Luffy. And Brule brings up an interesting point. It's like, you could have fell on your stomach, you chose to fall on your back. And Brule was like, oh, you always to be the one that's never fallen on your back. And Brule says, no, that's a lie. I've already seen you on your back. And I'm sorry, that scene got me. I was ready to laugh out loud. It was an emotional scene, but when Katakuri started blushing, I don't know what it was, I just found that hilarious. Katakuri just started blushing. You saw that look when Luffy discovered his face for the first time. So, number one, Brule has that scar. Number two, they're so close. It's because back in the day when Katakuri was getting picked on for his face, or for his mouth, he was pretty much being called Pelican Eel. He just went around, he doesn't give a shit. He just beat them up. Find it ironic, you had a mini of a mini Daifuku and mini Perospero. And it kind of makes a question, how old are they really? Because they look pretty much the same age, even though we know they're not. Even though Perospero is the first son, and I'm pretty sure Brule is the oldest daughter. And Brule doesn't see me in this flashback, I'll tell you. But then we come to find out she gets stabbed and she gets slashed in the nose. So now we know where that scar's from. Is because the other kids have been beaten up by Katakuri. We're getting revenge for that. So obviously Katakuri gets pissed, and obviously he blames himself. And this is where he tears up. And another emotional scene. This adds more layers to Katakuri's character, even though it didn't really need it. He was already a badass to begin with, but now, oh, I mean, it seemed like he gained more from losing than he did from winning. I know a lot of people thought he should have won, but that's the way I see it. I mean, he gained hell of a lot more respect, especially from that episode. And now it's like, oh boy, I hope he comes back into the story. I really do. I don't know if the cards are on the table to go back to Whole Cake Island. I hope we never have to see or hear that island again. But I do think there's definitely cards on the table when it comes to Big Mom and Whole Cake Island. He just goes to Elbaf because there's some unfinished business with that. Oh man, my heart just skipped a beat because we saw Reiju just smile, and we know what's ahead. I'm like, oh gosh, that role has been complete in the story. Unless we get to see him again, because sun kicks in, you see it, you hear the waves, and then you see Big Mom rushing, and it's like it's not over yet. Sung once again, Soul Pocus plays throughout any portion of this episode where it appears, and the narrator did a convincing job to make you think everybody else lost their lives, so Luffy and the Straw Hats. If that's true, that Big Mom is responsible for killing not only the Sun Pirates, the Vince Smokes, and Jinbei, that sucks for Jinbei fans who wanted him to join the Straw Hats, because Oda has been teasing the life out of that ever since the end of Fisherman Island. Luffy asked Jinbei to join his crew. Jinbei said, not yet, I have business to attend to resolve with Big Mom. We later go to Whole Cake Island, and then after that he actually sat down. He had the balls to sit down in front of Big Mom with a sake cup, a huge sake cup, and said, no, I'm Big Mom, I'm out, I thank you for your service, I'm joining the Straw Hats. So, and then obviously the quote, and Jinbei says it, it's like, I can't die here, I made a promise to meet them back on Wano, so what's the point of having that in there if they're just going to kill him off? So, and I said this before, it makes the moment even more epic when all the Straw Hats are together and they finally induct Jinbei into the crew. I don't know if Carrot's going to join the crew, because you have to ask yourself, out of all the minks, why Carrot? Because, number one, the flashback when we see Carrot talking to Pedro, about when Pedro was relayed the same message for Roger, it's like, has to be around for Luffy to accomplish his dream, or what's the point of Carrot being along for the ride here? So, I don't know, you can make your own opinions if you want about Carrot being a Nakama candidate. And I personally think Reiju would have made a perfect fit. Can you imagine the character dynamics between Reiju and Zoro? That would have been hilarious. Well, I don't think that's ever going to happen. I hope we get to see Reiju again. That's That's what my heart's saying. My mind is saying, no, I don't think so. Because, I mean, the last quote of the song when Soul Pocus ends is pretty much life or death. Yeah. And then the narrative cuts to, oh, the lives were lost. The Vision Smoke's, Tom Parents, and Jinbei's life were lost, so the Straw Hats could escape. I'm like, fuck. If that's the case, boy oh boy, that's a major league troll on the part of Oda. And this is awesome. This is an awesome episode, by the way. From an emotional character standpoint, it was great. We see Sanji. He's like, "Oh, you want me to bash you some food?" Because he hears Luffy's stomach growling. And the moment they hear that, Carrot, Brook, Chopper, Luffy rises from the dead and like, "Yeah, food. Let's get some." And meanwhile, you shift over to the Baratier, which is Sanji's real father. That's pretty cool. And they're both cooking simultaneously. The customers at Baratier, obviously for Zeph, obviously for Sanji, for the Straw Hat crew. Nami's just laughing it up because, I mean, she was the one suffering who actually tried to cook beforehand. And it's like, eat up, and we'll talk later. And that's how the episode ends, with a split screen of Zeph and Sanji. Great symbolism, great episode, and all in all, it's an enjoyable arc. I'll go over it in more detail in a separate video, but all in all, I've enjoyed this arc for what it was. Let me know what you guys think down below. I can finally say we can move on to the Reverie. The hype will begin next week. I can't wait for that. That's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video if you did. Subscribe channel. And yeah, comment down with your thoughts. And thanks, guys. Bye.